Get ready. The 42nd International Reggae and World Music Award Show is coming to the Coral Springs Center for the Arts, Fort Lauderdale on Sunday, March 20, 2025. Celebrate the biggest names in reggae and world music as we bring nations together through music and culture. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out. Grab yours today at thecentercs.com or irama.com and book your stay for an unforgettable weekend. Hurry, prices go up after Thanksgiving. Follow us on social media and visit our website, www.irawma.com, for more details. The 42nd Irama Show, where the world comes to celebrate music.
It's the numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. Yes, family. Yes, family. Yes, family. Yes, family. King Simon in the beautiful building. You know what it is, family. Today we got a special guest. Don't really do this brother, man, has been like the invisible man to me. All I used to do is just hear about this brother. But we're gonna bring him up in a few minutes. Let's give him a little time. We gotta give him a little time. But this brother Tony has been, and my middle name is Tony, which is funny. So this brother has been like the invisible man to me. And Dr. Blair used to talk highly of this brother all the time. He really loved this brother, and I can see why. He seems like a very humble and sensitive type of brother. And also being born as one of my best friends born that same day. I was like, I ain't gonna say his birthday. That's none of y'all business, but it's very important that when you have that type of energy and born under that balanced energy, man, it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to be bringing him up in a moment. I just want everybody to shine light, and please share this right now, because this is going to be the tribute of most tribute. Y'all know I do it almost every year since our dearly beloved Dr. Blair transition. So usually I have different people, but I'm so much excited about this brother here, because he is keeping the legacy, the Metacenter legacy, alive and well. And I'm so, and I told people before, I've dreamt about Dr. Blair on many occasions, and every time I dream about Dr. Blair, this brother is always teaching. Now, I don't know if he's teaching aliens. I don't know if he's teaching extraterrestrials and other people, but I'm sitting in a classroom at a desk, and he's at a chalkboard like I got behind me, teaching and writing and breaking down stuff. Every time I go in, and I've dreamed about all the elders. I've dreamt about Dr. Sabi when he passed, and I used to work with him. I've dreamt about Dr. Africa when he passed, and I've dreamt of, different things. But Dr. Blair is the only one that I think he would have been 91 or 92 today, but he's the only one that I dream up, and he's always teaching. Always teaching. But I'm not going to bring on Tony yet. Let me give him a few seconds. Let me run down what I got coming up. Of course, just want to remind everybody, please join my membership, because my membership is where all the lessons come in. I'll be bringing up Tony after I do this, and I'm waiting for my co-host. I don't know what happened to her. I know she's in Canada. I know anything could go wrong in Canada. She used to live in Chicago. But please join my membership, because that's where I teach all my lessons from numerology, from my perspective, numerovation, how I break it down with the numbers. And remember, all my books right now are available for February's melanated month. These books right here, particular Numerovation for Mental Stability, which I also shouted out Dr. Blair in the book, because he was one of those dear people that let me understand about colloidal silver, gold, all that kind of stuff, and what are some of the healing things that we can use, meditation. Matter of fact, it was Dr. Blair that showed me how to tune into my frequency, my own individual frequency, by our little meditations back in the day when we used to do it. And this coming Sunday, we have Dr. Philip Valentine and Brother Sabir Bey. Now, you know, Dr. Valentine, Dr. Blair, and Bobby Hemmett was three the hard way back in the day. So when we brought them in, it was fire all the time. And they taught different perspective and different aspects, but they was really about this metaphysics. These are the metaphysics grandmasters, and Dr. Valentine is still with us. Big up to Dr. Alicia Kair, who also loved Dr. Blair. She will be coming up with me on February the 19th. It's going to be hype. I can't wait. She's going to be teaching on the magic of death money. Also, I got a class on the grammar of numerovation. Make sure you take my course. My workshop is how to articulate or consciously articulate using these numbers on multiple levels. It's going to be, you got to get your tickets on Linktr.ee/King Simon the Numerovator. And also one of my teachers, Lloyd Strayhorn, another Aquarius, his birthday is coming up on the February the 16th. He's having a workshop called Numbers, You and Beyond. And that workshop is called The Art of Numerology as a Career. This man has been doing it for 40 years. So I definitely suggest y'all go to his Linktree and sign up for his class on how to make it a career on any metaphysic level can be a career. I'm telling you right now. And on the 26th, I am honored also to bring in the lead actor and writer of Mosiah on Prime Videos, on Amazon Prime Video. The one, the only Samuel Lee Fudge will be with me live and direct, so don't touch that dial. And last but not least, before I get into the program, tickets are on sale for this event that Brother Shabazz is doing. Now, Brother Shabazz is one of the elders that brought in Dr. Blair back in the day too. Over there at LIU. He's coming back at LIU on March the 23rd, and tickets are available right now. Vending is available. All you have to do is text Brother Shabazz and tell him King Simon sent you. 347-496, not 347-683-8122. Brother Shabazz is still doing it. Family, it is, and let me tell y'all something. The brother that also before I go there, right now, from Dr. Blair's birthday, Earth Strong Solar Return. Coupon code is Blair. 13% off at free shipping of any size order. It expires on Sunday, February the 16th, just for Dr. Blair's birthday. 13% off. Make sure you go to the website right now and support the website right now. That's Metacenter 2, the metacenter2.com or the metacenterchicago.com. Support him and go and get that 13% off on any size order. Just because Dr. Blair is born on the 13th, he's doing 13%. That is also, and again, this is Brother Tony's Cash App. He's also have Zelle. You don't see PayPal up there, but you see Zelle and you see Cash App. Make sure you support Brother Tony, anything, because he's upholding the legacy. So without any further ado, I don't see my co-host yet, but I'll bring her up when I see her. She might be going through some stuff in Canada. I know how that can get up in the mountains. This brother that I'm about to bring on, man, he has a wholesome and respectful smile. Like I said, I thought he was the invisible man for a long, long time, man. And this brother seems like a very beautiful brother. And I know he is a very beautiful brother because Dr. Blair used to shout him out all the time at the lectures when I had Dr. Blair at different places like National Black Theater and places like the Marcus Mosaic Center, Nicholas, Brooklyn. Without any further ado, I want to bring on the one, the only, our brother, your brother, one of the brothers that's holding it down right now for the Mental Center in Chicago, the one, the only, Brother Tony Vortex. The brother's in the building. Let's give it a shout. Let me put him on right now. How you doing?
That was an intro.
Yes, sir. That's me.
Intros. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, it's an honor being on your show, King Simon.
Man, brother. I am honored to have you here, man. We've spoken on the phone, and like I said, Dr. Blair has been, man, he so loved you, like he loved his own son. You know, And, Dr. Blair went through a lot. And I know, like I just told you, I've dreamt about him numerous times. Have you gotten any dreams or astral travels with him?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Especially many years ago.
Yes, sir.
It was quite vivid all the time,
Yes.
powerful. And so that's why we're here today.
That's why we're here today for his born day, man.
What we do.
That's right. That's why we're here. How's Chicago treating you out there, man? How's it going?
Chicago's cool. It snowed big time yesterday. Another snowstorm has come through the mob, but this is what we used to anyway. So
yeah, I know. Believe me, I used to be in the Nation of Islam. I used to go back and forth to that Chicago place, man, back in the day. And again, you tell people first about the 13% off. Why you tell them about it, please. Let them know.
Okay. So 13% off. Dr. Blair's birthday, of course, is today, February 13th.
Yes, sir.
And so, of course, we still run the Metacenter. Obviously, we have quite a few products. Dr. Blair, of course, was big into the EMF protection, obviously, magnetics, diodes, of course, herbs and healing and things of this nature. So we still have all of that, and we have expanded all of those lines as well. And so, of course, many of you probably are already supporters, but if you're not, now you know. We are located right down the street from his original location, or our original location. It's literally a few blocks away. And so we're here in Oak Lawn. We still host classes. Like we building Tesla towers right now, free energy towers, literally here at the center, free classes, don't cost you anything. Of course, health classes and many of those other things, metaphysical classes as well. So.
Right. I've been on your site, and I've been on the YouTube channel. Y'all doing aeroponics, all of that stuff. You're doing a lot. And I know Dr. Blair I have the magnet books that he referred me to back. Matter of fact, I tell people all the time, it was Dr. Blair that first gave me a magnetic cock ring. Yep, those were very popular. Those are very popular, sir. Before I move on, I see the co-host finally coming in. I see my phone co-host right behind, always fashionably late, but not my people's. But let's welcome the dear artist, international artist herself, the one, the only, Rosalind Hunt. Big at the building. What's up, Rosalind? How you doing, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, we gotta do this right now. We know how we do it. And of course, Brother Tony, I don't know if you met her. She's been at the center a few times, and she worked with Delbert Blair back in the day. So I don't know if you remember her face.
How you doing?
2013? I think it was somewhere around that time. I was with my mom, actually.
Oh, yes. Her mother is the great artist herself, Geraldine Hunt, man, the great singer and great artist. Both of them all singing, and her brother is Freddie James. So big up, they are all great singers that I grew up with back in the day. I used to listen to them, and so I'm glad
making me blush.
Her song is from Murphy's Law, and all that good stuff that she's done. What one thing about Dr. Blair I'd like to say this, Brother Tony, is that Dr. Blair was very adamant about teaching about the power of woman, the power of women. He did all that stuff. He was teaching on the bone structure and the density and all of that. While you was with him and doing it, what was some of the response from our sisters in regards to Dr. Blair's teachings, if you remember?
Okay, well, it was, you could say, quite revolutionary because at the time that he was teaching this, it wasn't a lot of it at that time.
Right.
He's been doing it since publicly since 1973.
Yes.
Right. So we'll be talking about, of course, his extraterrestrial experience. You haven't heard, of course, a so-called black god, because that was different than the narrative at that time, and you could say kind of still is even today. Right. So him talking about that, talking about, again, women, the power of women standing on your head, upside down for as long as possible, daily kind of thing to bring in that energy. So he went in, of course, he has the man, woman, and child lecture, the women lecture also by itself as well. So we are extremely powerful, men and women. But a lot of times women are discounted due to, you could say, the patriarchal focused society that we live in. So him going deeper into it, and those lectures are on our YouTube channel if you want to check them out.
Yes, and Rosalind, did you want to ask a question, please, along that line, please? Let's go ahead.
Well, for me, like I said, I met him through my mother. It was my mother that found Dr. Blair because she was kind of suspicious of certain behaviors that I had, and she went on this search of trying to find some sort of answer. the questions and the way that I spoke, the language. And what Dr. Blair did for me is he gave me the language that I was trying to interpret and express myself throughout my life. And he gave me the words, like even the word metaphysical. I had never heard that before. Unfortunately, like Tony was saying, as far as females are concerned, there was so much information that he taught the female about their own bodies, right? That unfortunately, that many of us had to live quite a bit of our lives with no information, right down, to our menstruation period time. You just like one day you wake up and it's happened, right? And your mother, your grandmother just, sends you to the store or whatever. And that's the end of discussion, right?
Right.
And the unfortunate oppression of the recognition of the energy, the frequency, and the power that the Black female has. I can speak for myself. I know when I was growing up, I heard a lot about the Native Indians, rituals and traditions, and the Indians and so forth, And unfortunately, as an American born, we weren't really connecting ourselves to the African side of ourselves, right? So there was so much lack of information when it came to us as females going through our menstrual cycle. And prior to that, a lot of experiences that we were having that we really couldn't we couldn't ask anyone about what was happening to us as far as our experiences as our, like, let's say our gifts or our powers that were manifesting themselves in our reality. And we didn't have the language and we didn't have the support. So for me, Dr. Blair, he was kind of like a uncle to me. He took this, he entered my life at such a great time. And of course, that time period, and maybe the time period that I'm speaking about, I may be off because I have an issue with time. I don't follow time the same way. So I don't, it could be 2013 or 20,000, whatever. And it seemed like yesterday to me. But the period that I knew and him then bringing in the information when he talks about his story, when he had the encounter with the Black extraterrestrials. So he just basically grounded me in sanity.
But hold on one second. Now, Brother Tony, during your time with Dr. Blair, have you seen a lot of that coming through to the center back in the day with our sisters and our brothers too?
Oh yeah, most definitely. All the time. It was always a revolving door, always happening. So I may have actually met her and her mother.
Right.
So many people come through. I can't say exactly. So, but people came through all the time. He is the master teacher. You could say even grandmaster when he was living, right?
Yeah.
And so he was always there. Again, open door to help people. And sometimes people just come in, sit down, and just want to talk about whatever it is on their mind at the time. And he was there for that. So, yeah.
Family, those that are just tuning in, we are here with our dear guest, Brother Tony, upholding the Metacenter legacy. Today is Dr. Blair's birthday. I think he would have been 91 today, right? 91? Would have been 91 years of age, of course. And spread love via his Zelle at themetacenter@gmail.com or his Cash App, $Meta 2020. And we have one of our guests, our first time she's ever co-hosting with me. Her name is Rosalind Hunt. She's an international performing artist. You can hit her up at her email. I got her email up there, and I got her YouTube page right in the chat right now, so you can see what she's performed and what she's done and all that kind of stuff, Murphy's Law and different other things. But her mother, Geraldine Hunt, and her brother, Freddie James, these are people that I used to hear about, not just in Canada, but also in America. Right now, she's in Canada, where I used to live back and forth back in the day. day. And she got a snow thing going on. He's in Chicago. He said it's snowing. So both of y'all, I'm in the summer here in Georgia. Y'all go ahead with that. I'm not doing that no more. I'm tired of that. But getting back to the second, Brother Tony, Sister Rosalind, what was so interesting about Dr. Blair with me is that he was able to allow us to tap into our frequency. That was the first time 25 years ago when I ever heard that we have our own individual frequency. And he did a frequency meditation with us back in the day, and then he did it again at Nicholas and at the National Black Theater. But I, to this day, can still hear my frequency. And if I want to tune in, I'll go right to it. If I want to tune everybody out, I can go right, because Dr. Blair showed us. Tony, Brother Tony, that frequency meditation, do you still do that at the center?
Yeah, we do that in many others that he taught. Necessarily public.
The Golden Sun, right?
Yep. But he did it at his house all the time. So we do. Yes.
Go ahead, Sister Rosalind. Did you want to ask Tony something? Go ahead, please.
Well, no, actually, I was just, it's since we discussed this and me coming on as a co-host and everything, it just I started to have these flashes of the experience of encountering him. And one of the things that he used to say all the time was interesting, And in the beginning, he used to throw me off so much, because I'd be like, what?
I say that a lot.
Yeah, you probably picked it up from him, because since he dropped it on me, I've been using it too, because I just thought it was quite interesting how he would ponder. He'd be like, interesting, and stop and sort of ponder and, but yeah, he invited my mother and I to Chicago, which I'm originally born there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the opportunity to stay at the house at the center at the time. And I was so excited. I almost moved back to Chicago. It was so crazy. It was so weird, but and I don't know if other people encountered that, but I would have to say that after meeting him, I did start having more what I call it supernatural experiences after the encounter with Dr. Blair. And of course, I didn't really understand the complete depth of what that encounter was really about. It was like after he passed, there was like so many questions I could have asked him, and I didn't have the proper information or study to know what questions I could have asked him, because I did spend time on the phone with him, and we did share, talking about different things. He was trying to basically help me get up on the line of, this new language. And especially because I was in Canada, and there was this explosion that was going on in America, and I think it's obviously has continued, right? Mm-hmm. It's still going on between within the Black community, and I wasn't so much involved because of my career. I started quite young, performing and traveling, and I did a lot of study of other subjects and things like that. But yeah, I can, and my mother's birthday is just a day before his.
February 10th, right.
Yeah.
February 10th. Right.
And so that was their big thing, between the two of them. They're the Aquarius, and my mom was always like, "Oh yeah, us Aquarius, we're so smart," and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But he definitely was a special being, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was very. When we talk about this extraterrestrial things, he definitely was different. Like,
let me say this, Brother Tony, getting back to what you've experienced is, I had a whole private workshop with Delbert Blair, with Dr. Delbert Blair on the MK Ultra plan. You know, the MK Ultra, and you know he was always dealing with men or women that came out of that. You know, from your perspective, when you now look, let's find out about Brother Tony. Tony, when did you get into metaphysics, Brother Tony?
Okay, so right. So it was. I'm almost mid 40s, right? So you're talking about, this is before social media and all of that. So you're talking about mid 90s or so, teenager. And so was dabbing into herbalism and things of that nature. And so fast forward years later, didn't know at the time, I lived down the street from Dr. Blair, a few blocks away. I was doing classes and things on my own, usually surrounded around STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. Again, this is early 20s. End up going on YouTube. Of course, I'm listening to many of the teachers at the time. And of course, I came across the elder, Dr. Blair. And so, of course, Ben was watching all of his videos that were available at that time. Yes. And so then eventually in one of his videos, he mentioned that he mentioned the Metacenter in Chicago. So he's in Chicago because most of the people who were on YouTube at the time were mostly East Coast or South. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's kind of still to this day like that, right? Yes. And so I found he was in Chicago. I tried to find him, took a while to find him, and then ended up finding out he lived literally right down the street from me. Okay. And so once I found that out, went to his home, he answered the door, and it was pretty much a done deal at that point. Was with him from that point into the time he transitioned. So and you know what you're seeing today, brother, because there's a lot of people coming out with stuff, as you know. I mean, there's all kinds of fantastic stuff. And you know, Baba Kaba Kamene, who was in Hidden Colors one time, and I believe he made it to Hidden Colors before he transitioned, right? Didn't he make it to one of them? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, one of them. Yes, he did make it to Hidden. You know, Brother Kaba, in a private conversation with me, said, you know, one thing about Delbert Blair, he was like, he made our thought pattern and our brainwave stretch like a rubber band, and he was stretching until it's like. I use an exercise thing with a rubber band right now. He said Delbert Blair will stretch your mind like this to the point where it's almost going to break because you could not imagine what the heck he was talking about. But many of us bore witness to what he was saying. That's why we were so intrigued with it. So when he presented that to us, and that's why I was the last to bring him into New York before he transitioned. Because remember, he was supposed to do my December 6th event, and he postponed because of health issues and stuff. And then all of a sudden, January 31st, my Baba is gone. My elder's gone. I had him because I always like to bring him in for like my ceremonies, my anniversary ceremonies. And I had to switch him up for Professor Griffin, Irritated Genie at the time because of that whole thing. And it hurt me so much because I knew I kept on bringing him in every year for a long time. And, you know, even now tears are coming to my eyes because I know I wanted him there for my anniversary again, because I know Blair would have brought the fire as usual. And it was a good crowd. But as soon as I changed it, as soon as I changed the calendar and changed the people, it kind of lessened after that. But with your experience with the Metacenter and what's going on, there's been major changes since he was alive. Now,
most definitely.
What are some of the major changes? Then I'm going to go to you, Rosalind, where you could ask a question. But what are some of the major changes that you want our audience to know about what's going on at the Metacenter?
Okay, so Dr. Blair, as you had mentioned, he was, it was an open forum for people to learn, right? Open forum for people to communicate. And we still do that to this day. We keep it where all people who need help, we do community work at least a few times a year. We still do classes because Dr. Blair, many of course know him as the metaphysician, the Grandmaster metaphysician, but he was also an engineer. Right. Even META stands for Metaphysics Engineering Technology Advancement. Okay, it's an acronym. All right. And so we do a lot of you could say engineering or technology based things that intertwine metaphysics within it. We sent we did a space project where we actually sent recordings up into space, and that's literally This is done this talking here in that video, that YouTube. That video is on our YouTube channel. We're doing deep sea research right now. We're literally building a Tesla tower, which is free energy. Okay, and so we have we talk about the women, right? I expect that typically when it comes to STEM stuff, typically it's more men oriented, but the men kind of dropped out, and they kind of going through what they go through, far as collectively in the community. You get what I'm saying? But the women have been coming out and they sitting here soldering the solder joints together and hooking it all together. So that happens every Saturday, and footage of that is going to be on our YouTube as well. And of course, we get deep into metaphysical conversations.
Of course.
Seeing, of course, being up under Dr. Blair, the elder, for so long. I mean, we have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Have to. Yeah. You know, and I realized that he, before I go to you, Rosalind, you know, I'm still into orgone energy and magnet energy because of Dr. Blair. I'm still into it. Still in it because that was his promotion, and the diodes. I still have my diodes. I still have my diodes. Rosalind, what was up? What you wanted to say? Please.
No, I think like I said, like the encounter after I encountered him, it's almost like there was something dormant inside of me, and he kind of activated. And it's interesting that Tony is speaking about, you know, the deep sea. What would you call it? Is this an experiment, or them making machinery through the soldering and, you know, sending something up into the space? Now, see, I think as females, now see, this is something that I'm totally like, I do these strange drawings and geometry, and, you know, I live out here in the wilderness, right? And my mother and I, we took a break from music, and this is how we started going deep diving into research. And these are the things that are most interesting to me. And I think, you know, for our children, these are areas that they haven't been encouraged to study. Engineering and welding, these things are basics to our survival, like to live, right? Knowing how to solder something, knowing, you know, how what is science, and what is the space, and what is, you know, deep space and sea and things like that. So I find that really interesting. That I'm going to look more into that, Tony, because I did call about maybe it's about 6 weeks or 2 months now that I called the center, and I was saying I was calling from Canada, and it's been a while. And you were saying to me that, you know, a lot has changed since then, because I don't have a time thing. And so now I'm going to do some more research on those things that you spoke about, because it's quite interesting, and I'm sure there's a lot more people interested in learning about these kinds of things. I think these are the things that, you know.
Right. So Tony, before I take this hard break, because I got to take this hard break.
Okay.
Tony, just think about, and Rosalind, think about, what was some of the most interesting things as far as extraterrestrials that Dr. Blair spoke about and all that. I'm going to take a real hard break right here. I'm going to move y'all out the camera. Then I'm going to bring y'all back up after the hard break, if you don't mind. All right. So I'll be right back, family. Just sit down and think, because people are asking in the chat right now. These are people asking. Ask Tony about his extraterrestrial experiences. And he's going on and keep on saying this thing, extraterrestrial. Everybody want to know about Tony's extraterrestrial experience, but you was with the master that always talked about it. So don't go nowhere, family. I'm going to take the front right now. We're going to bring our guest, our co-host, of course, Rosalind Hunt, and also Brother Tony from the Metacenter. We'll be right back after this. I don't want y'all to go anywhere. I'm going to put them in the backstage, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to play something from a lecture that we did with Dr. Blair back in the day over there at Nicholas, Brooklyn. I'm going to play something real quick, and we'll be right back after this.
All this to me is trifling if we don't understand our reasons for existence. If we don't know where we came from, if we don't know what we're doing here, and if we don't know where we're going, what is more important than that? Many of you are incarnates here many times over. And until you can clean up your karma, you will be incarnated here. But since our planet is not going to stay in kindergarten much longer, it means you either now will change or cease to exist on this planet. You'll have to go someplace else to carry out the lesser dharma, to carry out the magic that's going on. There is a book called the Bhagavad Gita. part of the Vedas, the Upanishads. It's called That As It Is. And part of the Bhagavad Gita talks about Vamanas and Vitlas. And this is part of the Bhagavad Gita, which worships and has Krishna as its head. Oh, by the way, you have all kind of black gods, folks, but you don't like black gods. So they give you what you think you want. Okay? Now, the word Buddha means black. Krishna is blue-black, had a black nimbus or aura. Fuhai of China was black. Quetzalcoatl, Ixtilton, and there's another, and Omocolado in Mexico were all black. Lao Tse was black. Isis in Egypt, or Hathor before that, was black. Zeus, the Greek god, was black. Tired from Scandinavia, where the people are so tall and light as the same, had a black god, tired. The only religion that does not have a black god is the one that most of you just came from church the day before you came here. Wasn't that hurtful? Aren't I ungrateful? I am an ex-black Baptist minister. Did you know that part too? I had a full life. I had to get over spending years being taught a lie. And it took me, it took me 13 months to get over the fact that I had been lied to and was becoming a Baptist minister. But I'm not a hypocrite. And I'm not going to go on something that I know is a lie. But when I had to use the age of reason, I had to read a WASP-A, I had to read the Matrix, I had to read everything I could. I said, doggone it, this is a lie. And I just did 2 weeks ago, the true story of Easter and Ishtar. And what does that have to do with bunny rabbits and eggs, ascension? All that is cloaked in magic.
Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You could also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You could also get my books on Amazon at Linktr.ee/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator. Okay, welcome back, family. Welcome back. We're going to be bringing them back on right now. Remember, make sure you go to the metacenter2.com or the metacenterchicago.com, coupon code Blair, because it's 13% off, free shipping of any size order right now, all the way to the 16th of February. Because today is Dr. Blair's 91st cosmic return. And we're so happy to have our dear brother with us and our guest co-host in the building, of course. And I just want to make sure that people understand that we got the people in the building that's been around him, man. And I love it. And even Sister Rosa said that Dr. Blair helped her. So it is what it is. So let's welcome her back on here as we're doing what we got to do to make things happen, man. Oh, good. Good to see y'all back here again, man. Now, you know the question is, they trying to scam the chat. They trying to scam the chat with that. The extraterrestrial experience, Brother Tony, the extraterrestrial experience, the Galactic Federation, all of this that Dr. Blair spoke about. Mm-hmm. And people don't really know that y'all have transcribed a lot of his books. Y'all like 4 books or 3 or 4 books you transcribed. People can get it on the website, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Good. I got them all. I made sure I got them stuff. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's my books, boy. When he told me he had that, I said, "Oh, let me get a wholesale," and I started getting them. I remember I went to wholesale and bought a few, and I was selling them at this lecture, and I even gave one to Billy Carson. So big up to Billy Carson who's doing. And what's that, my brother? Show me.
Gold powder.
Ooh, you got the. Ooh, he gave me gold powder years ago. I gotta go get me some. Lord have mercy, I still got the one he gave me. Some of the stuff he gave me. Mm-hmm. Yo. Now talk about the extraterrestrial, brother Tony, okay, real quick, and what you've experienced from your own perspective, but what Delbert Blair used to tell you, Dr. Blair used to tell you.
So that's a heavy one. That's heavy. So,
I know it is.
So of course, Dr. Blair, what made Dr. Blair again so revolutionary is that in 1973, most of the conversation dealing with extraterrestrials was either Grays who want to anal probe you or something like that, right?
Right.
Okay. It was some kind of Germanic, Aryan people who come to save you, okay, or something to that nature, right? And so you had this so-called black guy who comes out and says that he met some extraterrestrials, and he didn't know where they were from. They didn't tell him, but they were black, just like. So he said some of the brothers you will see walking around the city, kind of thing, right? One had an afro, one was shorter, one was taller. They were reading his thoughts, and so on and so forth. Now, I've had many extraterrestrial experiences myself, and they were not, again, grays and all this other stuff. They were people, right? Who look like us, right? And so I called them the old worlders. That's what I called them. Okay, that's how I knew them as, right? He didn't know where they're from. So eventually when I met Dr. Blair, of course, we became closer and closer. We're having these more detailed, intimate conversations. We've even together and with others talked to these beings, right? And I said, I call these the old worlds that I was telling him about. And he's like, these are the people that I was telling you about, kind of thing. So we ended up over time knowing that we're talking about the same exact people. And so these people weren't necessarily from space. They were from other places here. We call them the old worlders. So we're talking about we could go deep with this, but
the inner planets and all that. Because I remember he used to talk about the inside of the world too, inside the earth also.
Inside the earth, those are whole different other beings.
Underwater, all of that.
All of that. So these are all different groups of people. So these are people from the antediluvian age. So antediluvian, for those who don't know, religiously is talking about the pre-flood. Okay. And so they weren't demonic. They didn't have any 6 arms or anything like that. They were humanoid, and they had an extended lifespan and advanced technology. Okay, so that's who these people were. All right. Wow. And so they still come here even to this day, as far as to what we call the kind of like the prison colonies most people dwell in, the continents you see on the map. Okay. They still come here, but they're from the outer lands.
Right. And you know, Tony, before I go to you, Sister Rosa, Tony, he Dr. Blair, man, was such an interesting, and one time, I gotta say this, and I've said it before, he loved Latin music, family. He loved Latin music. So I took him, I wasn't able to go. So him and a friend in New York, I gave him free passes because I used to work at this club called SOBs, the Sounds of Brazil. And I gave him free passes to go to the Latin night. And I heard he had a ball over there. He loved to dance, that Latin music. He loved Tito Puente. He loved Celia La Cruz, who I've met Tito Puente, Celia La Cruz, Alberto, and all of these guys. I met all of them at SOBs. And I almost met Fela. But Fela had transitioned the same year when I started working there. So I missed Fela by probably a few months. But there was something that brought Dr. Blair that while he was going through all of that, the extraterrestrial stuff and all of that, music helped to bring him down back to earth, because there was a lot going on in his mind. And privately, anything can you say about why music was so important to Dr. Blair, especially Latin music?
Well, he liked to have a good time.
Yes, he did.
And that was his way of releasing and expressing, And so there's even a place a few blocks that was from his house. They used to have, live shows come in and everything else, live artists, and he used to go dance in there at times as well. So, that was his way to express, and he most definitely could dance as well. Some of that footage you will find on YouTube too. Okay. Yes. So, of him actually getting down. So, that was his way. He liked Frank Sinatra a lot as well.
Yes.
Privately. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, somebody asked in the comment, is there a way to join the Tesla classes remotely?
So there's a lot of equipment involved, and we have that here at the center that you can utilize the materials at no cost. So we're kind of working on the best way to do that live streaming, but eventually it will be. Okay.
Sister Rosalind, go ahead. Say something, ask him a question. Let's get it in. Go ahead, do your thing.
No. It's interesting, that we finally got the understanding that these so-called alien extraterrestrial actually look like us, people that's among us, and it has explained a lot of the confusion of the question of where are all these people coming from, like on the planet. And when he talks about these prison colonies, when you travel around the world and you go and be with different nations, you know there's something different about that. Like sometimes I used to ask myself, you know, when I went on a plane, did I actually go to another planet or something? You know, it's like we, you know, there's so much lies going on, right? But yeah, as far as the extraterrestrial encounters,
because I know a lot of them happen in Canada. A lot of them happen in Canada. Mm-hmm. My cousins, all of them experience that stuff. What's your take on that, Rosalind, please? Real quick.
Well, there's so many experiences that I could speak about.
Oh, well, I don't want you to speak. I don't want nobody coming to your house.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta say
not say too much. Okay?
Yeah, you know. No, but that's it. This is like, you know, you have to will me in, right? So yeah, you know, so yeah. Yeah.
Because people are speaking about and now, Tony, would Dr. Blair say it was a metropolis of aliens or extraterrestrials other than just our complexion or our people?
Yeah, there were many different types.
Yes, I remember.
There were many different types, and so and he wanted to express what he's seen, which looked like us, because that's a narrative that seems to be purposely withheld. And remember, I'm sure you know, especially King Simon, there was a Project Camelot interview of a white guy, a white man, older white man. He talked about he's seen a ship. And he's a very respected guy. Oh, his name was, you remember his name?
I can't recall. I know Wesley Muhammad mentioned him in his book. I do have the information, but I can't remember his name. Yes.
Okay, so it was a Project Camelot interview, and this well-respected white guy. He said that he started off saying he's seen a ship. He said it was these super tall beings, 7 to 9 feet tall or so, and he said they were black. You know, it was very expressive, and like it wasn't expected. You get what I'm saying? So there's much more to our reality than what we're seeing. Okay. So that's why, you know, here we get into a lot of behavior science things as well here.
You know, I forgot what the name, but I remember, you know, Dr. Blair used to speak at the Nation of Islam's university. A lot of people don't realize that because remember, because the messenger taught on the mother planes and all of that. I have the CD of him teaching on 250,000 years. Of history. You remember that CD? I know y'all still got it, right?
We most definitely still got
it. Yeah, and that history, I had to lay down and listen to this because it just was probably like 4 to 6 hours long.
Yes.
And I had to lay down like I was listening to Outwitting the Devil. I had to lay down, and I don't even know where that CD is now. I don't even know if somebody stole it from me. 250,000 years of history Dr. Blair was breaking down. People don't even understand how deep it was. And speaking on those extraterrestrials, because like I said, he used to be at the Nation of Islam back in the day, speaking on that kind of subject and, you know, doing with all of that. Brother Tony, did they ever get to put a lot of that history in book form, that 250,000 year history in book form or anything like that? Did we get to translate?
Not really. See, the whole book thing came about toward the later end.
Yes.
And so I was trying my best to help him to get that done as quickly as possible. Okay. And so we just couldn't get through all of that, but I'm still working on, we have a lot of things working on behind the scenes. Of course, we are in this 3D dimension that deals with time. So there's only so much time in the day, you know what I'm saying? But we are working through those things. You'll see more and more releases in the future.
Right. Rosalind, what you would have to say? Go ahead. Cause Tony don't have that much time. I don't want to keep him too long. My brother's working behind the scenes. I know he's doing his thing. What you have to say, Sister Rosalind? Anything you'd like to ask him about what's going on as far as what's the next level of the Metacenter? Where you want to go?
I'm just happy to see that it's continuing, and he's doing a great job with his team of people. And
let's give that a round of applause. I'm sorry. Let me give that a round of applause. Yes, let's.
Very happy about that. And, you know, obviously, Dr. Blair left it in your hands.
Good hands.
And you're doing a great job. And what can I say?
Yeah.
And you know, I know none of us are perfect, you know, Tony. You know, a lot of people have their madness to say about all of us if they don't understand what's going on over there, what's going on with numerology. They all have it. And I'm one of those people, when they come to me with madness, about, oh, this person ain't doing this right, I always call them and say, brother, this person is saying this. I need you to talk to them. Please, that's what men do. That's what I learned years ago. Call that person. Why go on YouTube and try to blast and say this and that? And, you know, a lot of the new thing is this is pseudo, that's pseudo, but you never know another man or woman's experience.
100%.
How are you going to tell somebody even about their dream? If I said that I was breathing underwater, and I did have a dream that I was breathing underwater, and I come to you in confidence to say, oh, that's pseudo. Yo, my conscious mind said, nigga, you can't breathe underwater, and smacked me and woke me back up. That's what happened to me. I was breathing underwater, and it wasn't after seeing an Aquaman movie. It was before Aquaman came out. I'm breathing underwater and being able to cohabitate underwater because we was all born in some type of water. We was all in the mother's womb. So, but my subconscious mind woke me out of that dream and smacked me in the back of the head and said, boy, you can't dream underwater. And Dr. Blair, you can't breathe underwater. And Dr. Blair used to say, those same superheroes that they teach about, we are connected to that type of energy. You know, I don't know if you recall that type of information, because he'll tell we have those superpowers. And one time he taught us that we all can reincarnate under any color, under any race or gender or anything. This is what Dr. Blair used to teach in our class one time. You recall him teaching on that?
Yeah,
please.
Definitely, most definitely.
See that? Yeah. Now, before we finish with you, brother Tony, because I know it is now 3:48, and I don't want to keep you up here doing too much. I know you got a lot of things going. You got a lot of newer programs. Can you talk about any one of them online right now, or you would rather them come to your website?
Well, they can go to the website to get the most up-to-date information.
Okay.
But we do have ongoing classes. We do put forth new classes all the time. We have group trips. We travel all over the country, world. And it's always about learning and experiencing new things. Also, we're always challenging ourselves. We're challenging ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually. So we jump out of airplanes. We're doing Spartan races. These are the kind of things that we do all the time. Most of the people who come to the center over time become very fit, physically and mentally, because we're always challenging ourselves into that. So I want to show you all why Dr. Blair was so in tune with the EMFs, and he talked about EMFs and the dangers of EMFs and so forth. So your audience can see this. So this is a EMF meter here. It's a sensitive meter. So typically on Amazon, you can get one for about $10-15. This is a $400 meter, so it's very sensitive. And I'm about to turn it on.
Okay.
So you hear the sounds there.
Woo! Because it's around the electronic. Right.
I'm going to turn it down. And so on there, you see, so on this side here, this is the peaks of the EMFs in the environment. In the environment, all the towers, the Wi-Fi signals, military things going on, all that, right? And this is over here, the average. Ideally, these should be not on the screen at all, or green, or green. That's what you want. Now, this is bombarding us 24/7. Many of us, the inflammation, and we get into, again, Dr. Big into health and all that stuff. We have over a couple hundred books, health books here. You could come here, you could read, you could research and everything else. But nevertheless, EMFs are bombarding us 24/7. Many of you may not be suffering from let's say an illness-based challenge, but you're in the middle of the night, you're waking up and stuff like that. A lot of times because you're being bombarded with the EMFs in your environment. So let me show you something here, right? So this is one of the products we sell on the website. This is an EMF beanie.
Oh, really? For the head? Okay, good. Okay.
So now I'm going to put this in the EMF beanie. And you're going to see what's going to happen here. Now, these are products that we've been selling here on the website for about 10 years now or longer. So in Dr. Blair, for example, they're selling gold since the 70s. So these are products and technologies and solutions that have been available to you to, again, enhance your physical, mental, spiritual bodies. And so, of course, here's the switches. So you all don't see me mess with the switch. See it there. Now I'm about to put the beanie over it, and I'm going to put it close to the screen so you all can see. You should see there.
Put it closer to the screen. I don't see it through there. You probably don't see it. We don't see it. Yeah, make it closer. Got to tighten it up. So we can see it.
So, one moment here.
I know it works. I got one. It went down. It went down.
So it went down. It was way up. It was red, higher. Now I'm going to take it off so you can see it still. You see, it hit green a little bit there. But, 1 second here. You can see it go higher.
Right. And
that goes.
whoa, yes. I know it works. I already know. I got one myself, so I know.
Yep. So just people to see, again, we about educating and making sure people are well informed, because there's a lot of people saying all kind of things these days.
Are you still dealing with magnets also? Y'all still dealing with magnets?
Magnets, crystals. Yeah. We have crystals all around the center. Magnets like the block. You gotta be careful with this, like the block magnet, 5,000 Gauss plus block magnet.
Wow.
You can put your water on.
Right. Yes, I have my water on. I have my water on it all the time. Yeah, magnets. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, Dr. Blair was so Tony, man. I know I could. I didn't want to get too deep because I know my channel was shadow banned, and a lot of people, they took down a few videos of mine before, and I just ain't got no time. Dr. Phil Valentine and Curtis Koss, and especially during the whole pandemic, all of that was being taken down because what are you showing there? What are you showing, ma'am? What are you showing?
Well, this is the plaque. One of the plaques.
Oh, that's the plaque. Oh, wow! For the plate, for the food and all that, right? Yes. Yeah. I remember that. Yes. I never got one. I got the little smaller one for my cup, but I never got that one. Mm-hmm. But man. Oh, really? Okay.
We bought a lot of products like that, like for the everything. We actually even got one of the the thing for the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The match.
And they stole it.
What?
From the airport.
They using it right now because they need it over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had some Oregon stolen out of the plane as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's some crazy stuff, but yeah, it's interesting that now it's everywhere, right? So many companies have these products, but there's none like the ones like I still really like the little round copper looking Oregon that you put on your on your phones and stuff like that. And what was there's some vitamins too. What was it called?
Vitamins too, brother.
We have
vitamins and
it's all on the website, right?
All on the website, dozens and dozens
all kinds of things.
Body, all the brain.
I'm gonna make a trip down there this summer, man. I gotta link up with you to Chicago, and when I come out there, I definitely want to. Even if we want to produce an event out there, I do numerology, so people might want me to come do some numbers. If you want to produce it, I will. Don't matter. Come. I like doing that. Dr. Blair always knew that he liked when I was breaking down numbers. So it's just that. And I wrote, now that he's got passed on, I wrote 4 or 5 books now. I was like, oh, Doc, I was.
He knows.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, he comes to me in my dreams. I'm telling you. When I tell you he comes to me in dreams, I am so honest when I say he comes to me in my dreams, man. But Tony, again, it's like 6 minutes before the top of the hour. Tony, I want to thank you. Any closing words for people that want to get even deeper in what y'all doing? Aeroponics, y'all investing in a lot and y'all are going to the next level with the Metacenter. Please tell the people, close out, land your mothership here, and then Rosalind, we'll close out after you leave. Go ahead, you will land your mothership, my brother. Go ahead.
Well, I just want everybody to know that we are here for you. Okay, yes. And that's literally, we are here literally doing community work. We are literally doing classes to raise not only our internal vibrations through health and wellness, but also our intellect. Okay, what we knowledge-wise. Okay, so we are. Again, STEM classes, many of them are free. Some of them are very low cost because we are community supported. So the community supports us to be able to offer these things to you at low cost or for free. And so we're here. We are a phone call away, 708-668-4909, 708-668-4909.
It's on the website, right? The number's on the website, correct?
Website as well.
And they got a deal going on. You got a deal. Coupon code is Blair. So get 13% off. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
Yep. And so, of course, Dr. Blair had a universal prayer that he said all the time, right?
Brother, you want to say it? You going to say it?
Yep. Here we go. So,
I got it. Look here. I got it on the screen. I close out with it every day, brother. Don't play with me.
Oh, there it is.
Go ahead.
Yep. So please, Universal's
Creator, know in my heart that I love you.
Please protect me
and this
planet on which I live
now.
Please
open my mind, my spirit,
and my soul. To receive
only truth
in your love now.
Yes, sir. I play it all the time. I say it every time, brother. He gave it to us 20-something years ago,
yes.
I still have the paper he gave it to me on right over
Me
here.
too. I have it on my fridge.
Yeah. You know, Tony, I'm so honored that you, and like I said, my best friend is born the same day as you're born. So I know we're going to be best friends, bro. We're going to be good friends. I'll tell you that. At least we're going to communicate more because I really respect what you're doing. And being born under that particular number, let me explain something. I'm not going to say the number, but it's in numerology, it's called the divorce number, meaning you're supposed to divorce yourself from negative people, negative energy, negative vibes. So I'm glad maintain that and stay. The 2 is about compassion. The 8 is about discipline. And then it adds up to that 10, which is that whole thing. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to say his full birthday, but I'm just knowing that 2-8 energy is such a powerful number to remove people, places, and things. Divorce yourself from people, places, and things that no longer serves your highest and wisest purpose. So just keep on doing what you're doing, my brother.
I will do it. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, mother.
You as well.
And yes, I know she's going to have to go to from Canada and get over there later on. So, brother Tony, let me give you a well-deserved round of applause for coming up, man. I'm going to give you a well-deserved round of applause.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony, keep on doing the work. And we'll talk, man. I might need to order some more biscuits and stuff from you, okay?
All right. Talk soon.
All right, beloved. Peace and love.
All right. Take care, everybody.
That's it. That's our brother Tony, man. Love it. He's busy doing his thing, man. I'm not going to hold him on him. And thank you, Robin. And I don't want you to go nowhere. I want to play something else. Anybody that's still in the live, I might just share a few and make me and Rosalind might talk to y'all for a few more minutes. But let me share something on Delbert Blair, another lecture that Delbert Blair did real quick, if you don't mind. Because if you don't know, now you know. All right. So check this out. We're going to play it right now. This is Delbert Blair, The Return of the Gods. Don't go nowhere. Check this out. We're going to be right up here in front with y'all.
For a soulless mankind, it profits now the knell of the death bell. For it means that if our planet can take in new energy, and if the electromagnetic field or frequency barrier can be altered so that higher frequencies can come in, and that pineal gland kicks in, then you will be once again in tune with your planet. And mankind, having no soul, having only the ability to report to the Lord God Master, will go crazy and begin to dysfunction and do crazy things. Human, who is part of both, will begin to question and try to follow its higher source, and the whole thing will lead to tremendous wars or tremendous conflagrations. The war will last no time if the sons of God can awaken to who they are. Because once they get in tune with the planetary head, the planet will do whatever they as a unit ask for. That is what some of the Yoruba people understood, what the magicians understand, and in a small way try once more to get in frequency with the slower heavens just above where they live or on their continent, or the elemental kingdom can obey. It was meant that the sons of God, being of the seed of angels, didn't have to even do that. They could summon, they could call forth, they could put aside. But before any of that could be done, they had to first come into the consciousness and frequency of who they were. Again, I kind of repeat what I said when I was here before. This summer, you will hear, and starting this summer, probably for the next 3 years, about the sunspot activity being on the increase.
Yes, we will hear.
You'll begin to hear more again about solar activity, prominences, all types of energy from the sun that will be very harmful. You'll hear about—
Hold on, those that could bear witness that Dr. Blair was telling the truth, that we was hearing about all this stuff, please put the number 13 in the chat. Put the number 13 in the chat if you've been hearing about that for years. Now, this is an old video, Dr. Blair. If you've been hearing that for years, put the number 13 in the chat right now. Dr. Blair's birthday is the 13th.
About ultraviolet light burning tissue and melanomas and carcinomas affecting the blood and the skin of people on earth. For the sons of God who have an active pineal, that will be a day of blessing, for it will not affect you. You will not be burned, you will simply darken, and the melanin growing, it's almost like a vicious cycle to make you more and more powerful. As they get cancers of the skin and glands, you will get glands beginning to awaken and throwing out the frequencies that are not good and reconnecting the DNA molecules that were separated. For at one time we had 12 strands of DNA, now we have 2. How could we function as an advanced God or being when we don't even have the right hookup? We can't go to 220. We've got to stay at 110, 120. That will activate the glands to begin to work on the molecules of the cells, and the cell's DNA will begin to unite. What they call junk DNA is not junk DNA. It is where it all got blasted apart, and now, like an amoeba, it will be coming together again, and each cell in your body, blueprint, will begin to vibrate faster as you become once what you were, the true sons of the God. For man to be man at this time, man must understand his feminine counterpart that is within him.
Right.
His animal counterpart that is within him.
Right.
The angel and God counterpart that is within him.
Right.
And his own soul blueprint, which is him.
Hey, hold on. Stick a pin.
That's
stick
a
a
lot
pin.
there, boy.
That's a lot there,
Right
family. Ooh, Lord have mercy. That's a lot there for that one day. Big up to people on Instagram, big up to people on Facebook, big up to people on Tony's website over there at the Metacenter, all of them that are tuning in. That's a lot there. We're going to get back to it. I ain't finished with Delbert Blair yet, but you heard what he said about us understanding that masculine and feminine and outside, and both of us, we got to understand it. That's why I think it's purposeful that they're putting men against women. Who's better, divine feminine or divine masculine? I'm like, really? Even in the consciousness, we don't do this? That's what we doing?
But you know what I found, what I thought was quite interesting about this whole journey, because I had a vision or some sort of in what they call it. I can't think of the word right now. Anyways, it was talking about that, and that was kind of part of this sort of this evolutional process that we have to go through. But the part about what's going on there is, at the same time, it's kind of like this whole confusion is really making real men position themselves, and the real feminine female position herself, right? Like because other people were trying, when you got a man standing next to you, in a dress and all that kind of stuff, talking about he's a woman,
right? And
the woman starts it ignited something inside that made us say, wait a minute, we are the real female, and then that made us question, well, what is a real female? What is femininity? What is female? And all this kind of stuff. So on one side, I think this whole stage is part of nature's way of teaching us. It's not like we can go to a school or whatever and have this experience, right? So it's kind of like when he talks about the children of the true gods or whatever, they've been confused and lost and all this kind of stuff. So all this other stuff is happening for the people to really snap out of their confusion, right? And makes the man get back into what is a man, right? Makes the female get back into what that is. And by doing that, we don't want to give that position up again, right? Where there's a way in for confusion. Right. So I would tell people, when this is going on, don't get upset about it, don't get emotional about it. Just let them identify themselves, these ones, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like part of the separating process. Right.
And again, let me I want to make sure everybody support Dr. Delbert Blair's legacy shop over there at www.themetacenter2.com. Somebody on Instagram asked for broadcasting on Instagram and a few other platforms. Brother Tony's platform over there on the Metacenter, also big up to them. MetacenterChicago.com is also. I've never been to the Metacenter in my life. I can't wait, so I'm gonna have to take a trip to Chicago, drive over there, do what I gotta do in the summertime, because when it's hot, 'cause I ain't going to Chicago when it's cold. No.
It's cold over there, boy.
Then I did that. And coupon code for the sale today all the way to the 16th. The coupon code is Blair, BLAIR, 13% off because his birthday is the 13th, and free shipping on any size order. So go to the website that you see right here. It's only until the 16th of February. So that's all you're going to get is our grandmaster teacher, historian, and engineer doing. Let me play this again. Let me play some more of it. So, because I got a lot of it. Hold on one second. Okay. And right now we have with us my guest co-host, the one, the only Rosalind Hunt in the building. Co-host, hanging out. This is our first time doing it. We just feeling her out a little, feeling her out. I don't know. We just feeling her out. We're feeling her out. Don't worry about it. She's an international performing artist, so she's doing so much. Her mama, may she rest in eternal peace. The one, the only Geraldine Hunt, who I've been hearing about since I was young. And big up to her brother, Freddie James, man, all the time. Keep on doing what you're doing, my brother. If you're watching this, it's all good. I love it. I love it. I love it. You came from a great mama and you got a great sister, my brother. Look, we're going to keep on doing it. Watch here. Delbert Blair is going to speak some more. Watch this.
That's why you will find people undergoing hypnosis, past life recall, flashbacks of things and intuitively that they didn't know happened, but they'll begin to see their past lives come forth. People that they meet that they'll be drawn to and they don't know why. Places that they'll go to and they don't know why. But each time you'll find that there's a benefit that comes when you follow that mind, because it will be something of an experience that will help to reawaken you. You must remember who you were.
Yes.
You must work with the DNAs in order for the DNAs to begin to entwine together. We speak of the tetragrammaton, which of course Jewish people cannot affirm. They will not say the name Yahweh. They will not say Yad-Heh-Vav-Heh. They will not say any of those things because they were not the chosen for this energy. They were usurpers and interpreters of the books of magic without the soul to contend with them. But the soulless ones and the soul ones were both asleep. Now when we understand that as this pineal gland flashes more and more, as the pyramid begins to also begin to give off sound and the Sphinx begins to vibrate, that is only a sign that the sons of God are calling forth their fathers and the angels are now being summoned to return. When they come back, the sky will be full of spaceships. Some are already there and seen by those who can see in that frequency, others never see them. When that happens, all granite formations in, on, and around our Earth will begin to give off sounds and vibrations. It will be a sign. With that will increase mighty earthquake and volcanic activity. It has to be that way. And if you happen to live on a fault line, you best move. If you hold back further the retardation of this planet, you are not serving the planet, and the planet cannot serve you. You'll always be told, once you're a psychic, when to move on and what to avoid. And the more you come in tune with the lines of force coming into our planet, the more will be your radio that is built in that will operate, and you will just know what to do.
Hold it right there. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Your radio. Big up to Radiohead Riz. Brother Riz called himself Radiohead because you know what to do. All of us, you know what's so funny? Within the last 10 years, all of us decided to move down to Georgia, right? And, you know, Stone Mountain is Crystal City, man. That is a quartz crystal. And some people are calling it Atlantis and all that. But our spirit, myself, Brother Rich, Red Pill, Blue Pill, all these people, Brother Panic was out here. A lot of people just started moving down here because we just felt the energy to get down here to do what we're doing out here. So, you know, what Delbert Blair is saying is sometimes when your intuition, your gut feeling tells you to make certain moves, you're going to have to move. I had to get out of New York. I was stressed. And I remember, Rosalind, that Dr. Africa telling me, because he was an iridologist or iridologist, depending on how you say it. He looked in my eyes and said, man, there's a whole lot of stress lines in there. And the more you're going to stress you out, King, the more you overwork, you're going to kill yourself. He told me that, to the point that he told me to come and stay with him and his wife for at least 2 weeks to come and stay. Dr. Africa told me this. But these was things that can happen. You can actually cause yourself to have a nervous breakdown or a heart attack because you're not listening to your inner feeling. You got to get money. You got to make this. You got to do that. And not listening to your inner feeling to go and travel or leave or go put your foot in some sand or go climb some mountain or go in the snow if that's what you like to do. I like the sand, tell you the truth. But go in the snow if you like to. You know what I'm saying? So, so what were some of the inner things that you had to do before we continue with Dr. Blair? What's some of the inner things that made you want to make certain moves in your life when it was time?
Well, I'm a performer, so I'm a singer.
Yes.
And I think that was probably one of the first things that happened was I started to recognize the frequency of the music that I was singing, not necessarily what I was just singing, but let's say the equipment that was being used, the microphones, the frequency. I became very sensitive to frequency. I stopped having a television in my house. Lots of things like that. I started to become very sensitive about. Before, this was like years before I found the information, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't really talking to people about it because I thought, well, maybe, what's wrong with me? Like something's up, right? But I was very, very sensitive. And for me, that was probably the first thing. And then I had to take a break from performance, being in an environment where it's constant different energies and the technology that they're using, this was affecting me, the new systems too, with the in-ears and all this other stuff. And just the language in general, this was a big issue for me. I just found myself very frustrated with the language of English. And as far as music was concerned, the scale, this musical scale that we actually live by, because when you think about the frequencies, like when you think about a pi and you think about all the other different languages, the fact that they call it the modern language, these modern languages, you realize that these new languages are on this new scale of a pi, and they are not rooted in the grounding sounds, like certain, original frequencies that we used to resonate at. And that began to make me at dis-ease. I started to have a dis-ease, and basically that was the beginning of me with removing myself from certain environments. I became more aware of frequencies that I didn't like or whatever, where before, when you're growing up or you're young, you don't really have the power to remove yourself from certain places, and you may not even be conscious, because we were born in this cesspool of dark energy, you know what I mean? So it takes a little bit of time to start to recognize your own frequency, like you were saying about Dr. Blair, with the technique of him teaching us about our true tone, right? And once you get that situated, then you can sort of navigate a little bit better. To know where and when, and people, places, and things that either resonate and empower you or decrease your energy. And then it's up to you to make the decision. And and I'm so grateful because I'm sure when I was growing up, if you were having these things like that, talking about frequencies and energies and all kinds of stuff like that, they put you in a special bus, right?
And I didn't know who to trust. I didn't even know who to trust to tell anybody that kind of stuff.
Right? It's like you're on the special bus, the little yellow bus.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Before we move on, let me play some more because we only have a little bit more time of Dr. Blair. But one more question I'd like to ask. Your mother is the one that introduced you to Dr. Blair. What was your mother going through at that time? Why she decided to go and see Dr. Blair? And our family, before you answer that question, remember you can go use this coupon code Blair at 13% off on all of any size order, whether you're paying for the small diodes or the large diode, or the small diode bed or the large diode bed, or whatever you're paying for. Go to the Legacy Shop at themetacenter2.com. That's themetacenter2.com, or the metacenterchicago.com. That's Metacenter Chicago. Support Brother Tony. What he do? He was already here. You might have to rewind this back. He was here from 3 o'clock, and he got off around 4 o'clock. But you can right now. I'm here with somebody who's also close to Dr. Blair as far as through her mother and her, Rosalind Hunt, international performing artist of Murphy's Law and different other songs. You can actually go to her YouTube channel and spread some love to find out what she's doing. I did put it in chat so y'all can see what she's in, what she did, so you'll remember the song in your head and all that. And she is something else now. Her mother and her brother, Freddie James, or something else. They've been doing it for a long time. I've been knowing about them for a long time. Though, enough respect. I'm glad she's here. Now, what was going on with your mom that made her to want to check on Delbert Blair? All of y'all from Chicago. What was that all about?
Well, as I was growing up, I started to learn that my mother was very curious about these types of subjects, right? And my mom was the type of person, how she dealt with me and my siblings, is that she wanted us to experience as much as possible. And she used to talk about, certain subjects
right.
That was kind of not really accepted in the family prior to her, right? Like my grandmother, great,
of course.
Right. So there were certain things that she wasn't able to talk about, but she was quite curious about. And so by the time I became old enough to comprehend, we were on this journey of understanding, the spiritual world, other beings from other planets and things like that. We had started to get into, more healthy foods and things. She, like I said, she was curious about, because I used to ask a lot of questions about different things. And so I believe that was her way of presenting to me someone who would be able to answer those questions.
Yeah, and I think that was and being an Aquarian like myself, and
yes, my mom was an Aquarian.
They tune in. Happy belated cosmic to her. February 10th was her birthday. One of my other good friends born on February 10th, she hit me up for my birthday also, and we hit each other up for her birthday. So for her to be in tune and locked in just like that, to save her daughter in any way, whatever she felt that she was going through. You know what I'm saying? You might have been floating in the bed. I don't know what was happening, but I don't know. So if you were floating and doing all of that, hey, there it is. We need to help her out.
Well, it's so funny that you're saying that. Earlier today, I was listening to an interview, with the woman that wrote the book of The Matrix and the Terminator.
Oh, yeah, she was on the Hype TV. Yes, she's on Hype TV.
Right,
yes,
she was on
recently.
Hype, and yes. she said she was
watching
speaking
it too
about the fact that she was talking at 3.
Yes, I have a number, Me, I used to talk to her on the phone, Sophia Stewart. I gotta go, but she's born December 15th. Yes, and don't worry. Hey, look, even Kevin Cat Williams said he was doing a lot of stuff. So I don't doubt those people that say that at all.
Well, this was one of the things that my mother used to say about me, that I used to, I was a different child kind of thing.
Right.
So through my life, if I had went to school properly in a proper school setting, when I say that, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think a lot of the miseducation, now I understand that Lauryn Hill album, miseducation of Lauryn Hill, we've all been miseducated.
Dedication, we call it. Dr. Phil Valentine called it dedication. Dedication.
Right. If I would have had this information, when I was like quite young,
but you already had it, but we didn't understand it. Because remember, Delbert Blair used to say it was already in us.
Well, well, this is the other part. The other flip part about that is that when these people surface, or this information surface, like when the internet opened up,
right?
I mean, I was right on that, because I was doing the traveling and reading the books, when I go somewhere, be at the library, right?
Right.
And it's really actually when these people surface or the information is presented to us, it's actually a confirmation of what you already knew inside of you. So that was already there.
Right. Well, thank goodness for your moms for recognizing what you needed at that time, no matter how you got it, how you received it. Delbert Blair was one of the people that assists, but also your inner ancestral energy also assists that energy. A lot of people don't realize that the blood is so important from your ancestry. That when I watch movies like Underworld and all that, they would rather suck your blood than listen to your lies coming out your mouth, because you have a time to think, but your blood don't tell no lies. It will tell you. That's why our bloodline, our ancestry and our bloodline is so important, because that's where all the truth is. Right there in the bloodline. So when they teach you those things and say that in those movies like Underworld and all that, he said, I was watching one of the Underworld movies, and he said, why should I listen to your lies when the truth is sweeter to my tongue? And that means he was going to drink the man's blood, because he knew in the blood is where the honest truth is. In the blood. And that's why they do drink blood in this day and time in certain higher echelons of society. That's why they do drink blood, or to get the youthfulness and all that. And Dr. Blair talked about different things to point us out of who these reptilians are and all that. Dr. Blair was one of the people that I used to hear talk about this stuff back in the day. Even before David Icke and all these guys, I was hearing Dr. Blair speak about this. So, I'm so happy that your moms opened you up to things. You don't get too many sisters back in the day that would understand this. That's why sometimes men and women break up, because sometimes a man or a woman could be on their spiritual journey and then they don't understand what you're going through and the changes you're making in your own life. And then you think it's crazy.
This is really unfortunate, and it goes back to the show that you had yesterday, Sister Abundance Child. Because our story hasn't been told to a certain point. The Black female's journey, the secret underworld journey of the Black female.
The Sibyls, the great Sibyls. We ain't gonna go down that road yet, but let me finish off this Delbert Blair. Hold on, no, let's not go there yet. I know what it is. I already know. I just ordered a book on the Sibyls too. I'm waiting for it to come, because I really want to study that history. Because my aunt name was Sybil. Shireen's mom was Sybil. Is Aunt Sybil, and I grew up with that name all my life. I have on my altar right now next to her my grandfather. So every time I look at that, I'm looking at the Sybil, this beautiful melanated woman that was so loving and kind and just expressed herself and took care of us when we came to Canada all the time. Her name was Sybil. And that's so it's funny that this thing, as soon as somebody started talking about that, Vicky Dillard, then I started hearing Rod Hayes. Then I heard my brother Seven Beaumont speaking on it. Then I heard about Myra Moss speaking. I was like, this name Sybil keep on coming up. I'm like, what the heck is going on? What's in our lineage? But don't go nowhere. Let me play this Dr. Blair thing real quick. Let's play this last part of Dr. Blair real quick right now. All right. We're here with Rosalind Hunt. We had Brother Tony on earlier. We're still broadcasting on Tony's link, on Tony's YouTube, and on mine. Also, we're broadcasting on Facebook and Instagram.
Or what to avoid. You'll know who to trust and who to accept. You'll know when you're powerful and when you're weak, and you'll know what to do to increase either one. The thing is, will you follow that inner voice and that inner sign? To conclude the part of the man lecture, man is separate from mankind, who is an invention by the Lord God. The Lord God is a planetary ruler, and each planet has rulers, and this one went a little bit berserk because of things that happened, which we'd have to talk about, which is under the science called cosmology. It has nothing to do with the first cause, God, a creator. Please do not say that I said that. We're talking about advanced beings who from time to time see the planet and from time to time even interfere with the planet, and now they must move on. The creation that was here, that went through all of this, will be double rewarded, because the souls that choose to incarnate at this time, which we call children, and have incarnated for the last 40 years, the advanced triggers now will be rewarded for what they came here and suffered greatly through to get the job done and to show again that the angels could return. Children are our key. That's why the state wants to run your children, disrupt your home, and do everything it can to stop that soul from awakening and being the mighty army that they were sent here to be. This is where we must talk to women and mothers. We must talk to the man, however, because in many cases it is the boy child that is the one that will carry forth the great ruler out of which his continents will come, that the angels will walk through and work through, and whose chamber will awaken just as the Sphinx and pyramid is awakening. Let me just say this as I conclude the first part. They not only have found the same Sphinx on Mars, as the Zulu also told you, but on the moon, on Jupiter, and everywhere they go, the same Sphinx stares them back. The sons of God did not just come to the earth. They are the masters of our solar system and our constellation. Just as in Star Wars there was wars between the good and bad, there was a war here on earth. They hid that book from the Bible, the wars of the Lords. They hid all of the things that would let you begin to understand that you were different from the other races of earth, and earth was your home, not theirs. But now that you can come into consciousness, you won't have to worry about getting out in the street with AKs, going out in the street and shooting them up. You can carry more power that will stop any bullets from being fired. You can cause earthquakes to happen or not. You can cause fire to actually come from the sky. I'm not trying to compliment you, because misuse it will burn you up too.
That's right.
It's just a simpler way of understanding. As you're beginning to come into your own, certain conditions are necessary.
Let me get that out of there. Let me get that out of there. Wow. Let's give Dr. Blair. That was the end of it. Anybody that want to come up on the screen just to say how much Dr. Blair affected them, please. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And if you want to come up and say something before I close out, I'm going all the way till 5 o'clock. So we closing out at 5. I got my dear friend, who's actually a friend of my cousin, but we finally got connected while we was in the supermarket. We was talking on the phone like, what the hell? Who that? What's that? What up, birthday? Doing all kinds of stuff on the phone. So I just put the link in the description in the chat. If you want to tell us, call us and tell us your experience with Dr. Blair or how his teachings has helped you out in any way. The link to the StreamYard, you got to cam up and come on in. Don't come up here talking slick and talking all the other. Come up here respectfully and let's talk about Dr. Blair, because I know some people like to talk slick. I like, don't come up here talking slick. Any troll, please take a stroll somewhere else. Thank you very much. That's all. And remember, family, Dr. Blair's website right now, 13% off. Free shipping on any size order until February the 16th. Make sure y'all go to the website right now, themetacenter2.com and www.metacenterchicago.com. That's right. Anybody want to come on? As long as you ain't afraid to come on, it's all good. If you ain't afraid to come on, it's all good. But please tell us how Dr. Blair affected you in any way. Yes, Brother Joseph said Dr. Blair was his first teacher. Yes, big up to Brother Joseph, who was also at the 9 Ether God Fest that we had recently. Place was packed out. I didn't know Brother Joseph was so big. He was a big brother, man. I'm like, yo, that's like he's like one of my old bodyguard friends that we used to roll with back in the day. Big up to Brother Yusuf, man. Love his energy. Chief, call him Chief. Brother Chief Yusuf now, man. He's a chief of a tribe out there. I forgot which part of the world he lives in. But if you want to cam up, it's in the link. The link has been put in the chat. If you want to cam up and tell us and express us how Dr. Blair helped you out in your life, whether you met him or not, whether you just listened to his teachings or not. Dr. Blair was a serious cat, and he really loved his people, and he really wanted y'all to know from a deeper level, not the surface level. And that's why some of the stuff he could not teach, because he always used to say, I can't talk about that. He'll stop. I can't talk about that. He'll stop in a major lecture. I have a packed house with Dr. Blair, and he going in, then he'll stop and say, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that. So, especially when it comes to MK Ultra and all that craziness that was going on in the government. I have books on that myself, that of people remote viewing all these different things. So again, the link is in the chat. Rosalind, like I said earlier about Canada going through a lot of experiences with extraterrestrials. I've heard the stories, I've watched the documentaries and all that. And, I have family members that have gone through it. The only time I've experienced extraterrestrials in my astral travels when I'm dreaming. That's the only time. And those that life is but a dream, that's probably the real realm. That's the real realm that I get it in. That's where I get it. That's where the real energy, that's where my real, because I can fly, I can breathe on the water in my dreams, all of that. I'm doing all of that good stuff. Somebody said I'm at work, I can't cam up. It's all right, no problem. If you can't cam up, just come on without the camera and talk. You know what I'm saying? Just come on and tell. It's all right. I'm just playing with you. As long as you're not coming disrespectful, because people sometimes that don't camera up, they don't show their face. We showing our whole face and our whole backside. Pause. We're showing everything, and y'all want to be terrible. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Tony, King Simon, Rosalind, for honoring the great metaphysician. Of course, we got to honor. Rosalind had an experience since she was young with Delbert Blair. I didn't get Delbert Blair experience until late 20s. You know what I'm saying? So going into the nation and all that kind of stuff, that's when I got me a Delbert Blair experience. So Rosalind, from your spiritual journey that you're still on, and that's why I tell people, take what you need from everything that you get and make yourself a better. I don't conform to this one too much. I don't conform to that one. I take what I need to make me better, because I have an eclectic collection of books, and I don't let anything pin me down anymore. Because when I was in certain religious organization, it was a pin down, and I didn't like that. I don't want to be pinned down. I'm all right. I'm focused. How do you feel about the journey that Dr. Blair has led many people on, and where you're going with your journey as far as metaphysics is concerned?
It's kind of like what you just expressed.
Mm-hmm.
Every master teacher has a specific, from what I'm seeing, my experience, they seem to have a particular area that they have mastered or really know about. So it's almost like you're not going to get everything in one person, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like the process of school. We started, kindergarten, then we moved to elementary and so forth. And so since there's not, we're not in Kemet in Egypt or anything. So these classes that we get to experience is being created for us as we go on our journey, right? And it's kind of like what you're saying is not to get, it's like, who wants to stay in kindergarten forever? Right. You wouldn't do that, right? So you can't really stay in one venue. Right, like to have a better understanding. From what I've understood, from my personal experiences, I learned a lot about the different religious orders. The main that we interact with people in our society most of the time is the Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever. So it's kind of like a language, right? It's kind of like being able to speak multiple languages. And at a certain point, you evolve out of that dimension or that space, right? And you keep going. And for sure. But if we look at nature, and we look at how nature works, there's some animals that mate for life. And then there's ones that meet every, 3 months or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That part.
So I think when they talk about that phrase about, know thyself, I think that has a lot to do with it, right? That concept of understanding who you are and being okay with what you turn out to be. You know what I mean? So in my case, I couldn't stay in any particular group or since day one, since I can go back and remember. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah, not even not in any particular band. You couldn't even say.
couldn't even stay there. You know what I'm saying?
And she's a singer now. She's a performer. She couldn't even stay with one particular band. Oh my God.
But you know, it's like you know, of course you have to go through a period of your life of feeling very awkward and strange and you know, kind of like not part of any, you know, misfit, if you want to call it that. And then at some point you realize, you know, I like my different. I like that I like me.
Of course. And
right?
you know, and I tell people that Delbert Blair was one of those people that, like I said earlier, stretch your mind like a rubber band. That means he wanted you to have that childlike curiosity.
Yes.
That part of it, and I totally got it. He wanted you to have that childlike, and you know, he'll stretch your mind until it pop, and when it pop, you just see it just try to mold back again, so you can get it again and pop, and it's like we. I remember one time we was in the Martin Luther King, not Martin Luther King, we was in the Marcus Garvey Center on Flatbush, Brooklyn, on 51st and Church, and the place was quiet, just hanging on to everything Dr. Blair was saying. It was like this. I was just in the back watching securing my venue, but I even got pulled in and still had to pay attention to the money and pay attention to the people. But I got pulled in just by listening to Delbert Blair because his voice was very penetrable and it got through the audience heavily and showing us that, yo, there's things larger and bigger than you that is also a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he let us know. And even when he helped me to tap into my frequency, I can still, if I calm down, if I don't talk, or if while I'm talking, I can still hear the frequency that he told us to tune into. I can still hear my individual frequency. That big bang that when your mother and father came together and that internal bang that happened, it's a new frequency happening. New frequency taking place, new scent, new fingerprints, new eye retina scan. All this is showing up. I'm still excited to this day.
Well, you know, it kind of made me think about the Penguin movie. You remember?
Yes, the Penguin. Yeah, series. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, not the series, but the actual documentary.
Documentary. Okay.
And that was one of the things that the penguins did with their baby was it was all about the tone that the parents.
Yes. You're talking about the actual penguin? Yes, that documentary. Yes.
Yeah.
I
thought that was so fascinating. The whole journey of that, and then
what's the name of that documentary again, please? Let's tell the people
something about
penguins. Penguins. Yeah, penguins documentary. Just look it up on YouTube. It's out there.
That was really interesting. You know, when they finally finished that back and forth journey. The only way they could find the baby and the baby would recognize them is they sang this tone.
They sang a tone that the baby was familiar with only.
And that they could find the baby too through that tone, their baby's tone.
That frequency, that pitch. Yes. And you know, that is interesting because our mothers and our fathers to a certain, but more our mothers, when she knew we was doing something wrong, what y'all doing in there? She'd be in the next room. What y'all doing? My mother knew we about to do something crazy.
Well, that's the part about it too. That you know, since my mom passed over, what I learned is what's the essence of that being, right?
Mm-hmm.
The essence of the being, right? Like some people, you know, they get caught up in, oh, you know, my mother was this or my father was this and I don't like them or whatever. Or you know, the ones who just want to, oh, my mom was so wonderful. She was an angel or whatever, without going back and forth from one extreme to another. When that, you know, when you remove that personality element, kind of back to even when you were speaking about, you know, we were talking with Tony, saying that, you know, nobody's perfect, but he has a message. So when a person has a message, right, like a great teacher can teach everyone.
Right.
We don't have to like that person.
That's right.
right? Like if they have a message and they have to teach something, you realize that you have to take out what the lesson is.
Right.
And so
message, not the messenger.
Right. So when it comes even to our parents, this is something like, what do I remember, significant?
Yes.
The laughter.
Yes.
My mother's laughter.
Yes.
The frequency of an honest laughter.
Mm-hmm.
How it penetrated me, how it made us feel or whatever. And like you said, when they would be upset, like, especially, I don't know other cultures, but we know in the Black culture, it's like when a parent calls you by your full name, you're in trouble. It's like, when they call you by your full name, it's like, oh boy, you know what I mean?
What the heck is going on? Yes.
Yeah. So those are the kind of things that, and like I was saying too earlier about Dr. Blair and all the elders, to be more present, to be more present with these people, with our elders, because they have this information that they want to drop.
Yes.
And we have to be more present.
Right. Absolutely right. We do have to be more present. And that's why I always, with Dr. Blair, it was and Dr. Africa and Dr. Sebi, I always had this love, this endearing love for them and how they handled me and treated me and respected me in a way. I remember one time I thought Dr. Sebi was angry at me. So I called him and I thought he was angry with me because somebody took the video that we produced, or somebody else was filming and we didn't know they was filming, and they sent they put it out there and they put their plugs and their production on it instead of putting mine and his. And really, Dr. Sebi didn't want that out there yet because he was actually filming for his own little documentary. So I thought he was upset. So till I finally caught up with him and they're crying on the phone with Dr. It wasn't my fault. He said, "No, Simon, I'm not upset with you. No, these things happen. Some people sneak in." So he was patient, but I shouldn't have assumed that he was upset with me. I should have waited until I get in contact, because I didn't want to lose that relationship with Dr. Sebi, because that brother helped me a lot.
Trust, right? That was
it was a trust thing. Yeah. And me and him have the same life path. That number 8, we have to have trust in you, and I let him know it wasn't my fault. I didn't know that somebody, because with 500 people in there, so you don't know who is filming, and security didn't tell me because they probably thought that camera was supposed to be there probably. And I didn't advise them and all that, but I know there was one camera that was supposed to be there and that was it. But I didn't know about these other cameras that popped, that one more camera that popped in, But I remember having a conversation with him, and he said, "No, King Simon, no." And then before he passed on, a year or two before he passed on, we was at Mr. G's event at the the Masonic Temple, packed house again. Dr. Sebi said, "Let everybody in for free because of some mishap." He said, "Let everybody in for free. He'll just sell this product." And then Mr. G told Sebi, "Yo, King Simon is here." He said, "Oh man, King Simon's good. Let King Simon rock that stage and handle the stage until I'm ready. He can handle it." Sure enough. And so I knew that he pulled me backstage. We showed love. His son came up to me. Everybody was there. He showed me love. So that right there knew I was already back in good favor with Doc. And, he was angry at a sister that tried to do certain things and didn't let him know. But he was definitely still in my corner for what I do, just by telling Mr. G that, "No, King Simon, he's that dude. He can do that. He's that." I know if Mr. G was on the line, he'll say facts. King Simon, he'll say facts, because that's what went down. But when you have those attachments or those connections with those elders, they feel like your grandfather, your grandmother. They feel like your grandfather. Dr. Francis Cresswell's I still got Dr. Francis Cresswell's number in my phone. Nearly Fuller's number in my phone. Dr. Sebi's number still in my phone. Dr. Africa's number still in my phone.
That's amazing.
I won't take it out.
Why?
Dr. Blair's number in my phone. I got Dr. Blair's number still in my phone.
Yeah, don't take it out. It's like, but it is like our family, right?
Yeah, they family.
They're family.
And family, please, the coupon code Blair, 13% off, free shipping of any size order. Any size order. Let me emphasize that. Any size order. Any size order for the Grandmaster Teacher himself and historian and engineer and metaphysician himself. His birthday, he would have been 91 years today. Well, nobody wanted to come up, is all good. But I want to thank you, my sister, for holding it down. And we'll talk off the scenes, off air, because I know you're in Canada in that damn cold area. Oh, winter! I'm Mr. Freeze myself. I'm Mr. 101. I'm Mr.
I'm telling you, boy, it's like, oh my God.
Put me in Jamaica. I want Mr. Heat Miser, not Mr. Core. Mr. Below Zero.
Yes.
No, me no want that.
Yeah. This was my mom. My mom, she brought us.
That's a legacy. Right? You needed that. Yeah, that was about that legacy. So big up to the essence of your great mom. Tell her I send my greetings in the essence world. Big up to her. Mm-hmm. And shout out to your brother and you. I got to get both you and your brother on my show together because y'all are artists. I got to do that one. You tell him that I probably share this with him and tell him I probably want to interview him.
Yes, I will.
That would be fun to have Freddie J. Because I grew up with that picture where he's like this in the album. I'll never forget that album.
Yeah, that's my bro.
Because when I was younger, it made me want to even think about singing and being on this album. And I actually did do an album, but it never came out as an album. All the singles came out, but I never put out the album. But yeah, I have all my old reggae tunes from back in the day, all positive stuff. Right now, I'm just translating them into book form right now. This book right here is one of my reggae songs that I'm turning into a book form.
Aww.
So, I like Bob Marley's children doing with Bob Marley's lyrics, turning his lyrics into books.
Nice.
And I did this red book is one of my children book. The red book right there is also one of my lyrics that I turned into.
Story.
Let me tell the story. Yeah, it's about Black history, but it's a simple Black history book. And I used to sing that song. I might even close this whole thing out with it. So
okay.
Sister Rosalind, I want to thank you for coming on. Let me show you your websites. Let me put your links back in there so people can go to your YouTube channel and see what you're doing on that YouTube channel. The way they can play the whole playlist, support you that way. And I know they can also hit you up. You can actually just say, "Hey, Alexa, please play Rosalind Hunt," because I played it. I did it one time and it came up. I said, "Okay," and it came up. So yeah, you go to Alexa or Siri.
Well, I started as a group. It was
Cherie.
Yeah, my mom wrote and produced it under our label 6 a.m. Records. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So I did put it up. Was listening to it on Alexa one time, and I was like, okay, it's on Alexa. Okay, you got it. Once you're on Alexa, you big girl. You big.
Well, it's so funny. It would be great, like you said, because I did some songs with my brother. Don't Turn Your Back on Love, produced by Tony Green here in Canada. And it's my mom passed 2 years now. So I've been on a kind of a break and just cleaning up things. But I just finished a small project, a little soft jazz project. Okay. And I'm trying to get back out there and. Because I love music, right? And I love to travel, so I can't stay out here in the forest forever. With the bears and the raccoons.
With the bears and the bears and the raccoons. That's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. So make sure y'all follow her or go to do you have an Instagram or YouTube?
Actually, I just got onto Instagram a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
But that's like a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, especially you got to have some products.
Oh my God! It's like ding 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 ding. But I'm sure now, I'm slowly,
Next time you come up, you have all of that.
Yeah, I'll have all that together because you'll be like, Rosalind, you should be doing this. You're the path and this, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but you need that. But you're born under that 30. You need to write your books, not just write songs. The books need to come out with those songs.
It's coming, and it's something that, like the girl Abundance Child said yesterday. Unfortunately, she was talking about having to
write her books after her mother passed. Right. That's
there's something. There's some things that is just.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So.
That's right. I'm not waiting till my mother passed. I want her to read. Because I know my mother liked to read, and I got the stories, but it's not that bad about my mother. It's really my father, but I didn't understand both situations until I got to talk to both of them separately and then talk to neutral people. Then I found out what it was. And I said, I can forgive because there was already, I remember they called us in a meeting. My father and mother called me and my sister and I in a meeting and said, we had to raise children hands-on. We didn't know, our parents didn't teach us that either. We just was doing what we do. And once you get that, you say, wow, that's deep.
If you can't get that, it's kind of hard to continue on your spiritual journey because
that's right.
The forgiveness element is
real.
If you don't have that in the recipe, in the ingredients.
Yes, it's real. It's real. It's real. Well, on that note, my dear, I'm going to get ready to close out with our dear brother Delbert Blair. I want to thank you very much for
Dr. Blair.
Yeah, man, we're going to close out with our soldier, man. Go close out with our spiritual soldier. Our soldier. Today, he would have been 91 years of age, man. Oh, man, Delbert, miss you, brother. And Sister Roslyn, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And you be safe out there, okay?
I will be.
All right. We'll talk, okay?
We'll talk. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's our Sister Roslyn, man. I want to thank her for coming on. Again, family, please support Brother Tony and the whole crew. Tony was on earlier from 3:00. I went for 2 hours straight, but it is what it is, family. This was one of the giants in the metaphysics, man. And please support the themetacenter2.com or www.themetacenter.chicago.com. Right now, all the way till February 16th, diodes, whatever they're selling on there, the books. Delbert Blair has books now, his own books. They transcribed a lot of his books. I think 3 or 4 of his books. I have those books, all of that he has on there. The classes, web workshop. Go and support Delbert Blair's website right now. You can see it right there at the bottom of the screen. That's the themetacenter2.com, and it's pinned to the top of the chat. Just in case y'all need to go to the top of the chat, and you'll see the website. And Brother Tony's link is pinned to the top of the chat right now with the Cashapp and all of that. Make sure you support Brother Tony, because holding a brother's legacy like Delbert Blair is a big shoe to fill. Big shoes to fill. So the Cashapp is $Meta 2020, and the Zelle is the themetacenter@gmail.com. Use that email. The themetacenter@gmail.com is the Zelle account for Brother Tony and the whole thing. But make sure you go to the website and support what they're doing live in 100%. I heard people are already buying and subscribing and everything else. So support. This has been a tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair. It wasn't the best, but it was necessary. I could have had much more people and multiple people, but I chose to have Brother Tony on because he is handling the Meta Center right now. And I chose to have Sister Roslyn on because her mother introduced her from a young lady to Dr. Blair, and Dr. Blair helped to save her life, to keep her focused. So, and I didn't even know that part. It was deeper. She talked about that, and that was good. And we needed that. So, family, we're getting ready to play this Dr. Blair and get on out of here. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be strong, be focused, be great in what you do, like Dr. Blair would have promoted. Be great in what you do, like Dr. Blair would have promoted. Be great in what you do, like Dr. Blair would have promoted. Be great in what you do. Dr. Blair promoted. Be great in what you do, like Dr. Blair would want you to be. And remember what his prayers is. I'm going to say his prayers, and then I'm going to play this out. I'm going to say his prayers. His prayers. Y'all know I always close out with his prayers. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Thank you, Dr. Blair, for all you've given us. Happy 91st cosmic solar return, my brother. I love you. I miss you. And I'll see you in the ancestral realm when it's time, but I'll still see you in my dream and my astral realm all the time. All right? Peace and love, family. Take care. Here's Dr. Blair taking us out of here.
Melanin has also been found to enhance brain capacity, meaning that the neuron networks and neuron centers, the brain can fire more rapidly and at higher vibratory rates with the presence of melanin. Tissues that scar and leave deep, what they call incrustations. And this is one of the banes of very dark-skinned people, because the scarring tissue leaves such a dark residue that it looks awful. But yet, the very presence of the substance that makes a person have deep scar tissue is what saves them from radiation poisoning and saves them from what we call deep neuroticism and psychoticisms, because of the inability to take in radiation or sunlight and convert it. The whole process on this planet is photosynthesis, but that has not been taught in our schools. It is the ability of plants to take in light and produce a substance, which we call chlorophyll, and the ability of animals and humans to take in light and convert it into a substance that we call melanin. For anyone living in bands of radiation that we would find around the equator and to intense sunlight, it is a must to secrete melanin. And the more you're exposed to that type of sunlight, and hopefully do not become actinically or ultravioletly burned, you must secrete melanin. And thus comes many diseases that we talk about that are bane or malevolent to what we call Negroid people. And the tanning, which we're finding now, is a blessing because of the pretty so-called brown color that comes about. As people have in their RNA, DNA chromosome structure, as they have mixed blood, or the blood of the black man within their veins, they have sometimes freckles, and that's all a freckle is. Part of the skin trying to produce, and trying, I should say, to utilize the melanin secretion, but not being capable of doing it entirely throughout the epidermal or the outer layer of skin, and therefore they freckle. And you'll notice the freckles deepen under what? Sunlight. It speaks for itself. We have just gotten so hung up and so mixed up, we don't look at the obvious. And you may not agree with the obvious. That is your pleasure. People carrying melanin are found in every continent on this planet, the further you go back in the history of that continent. And let me repeat that slowly. There is no place on earth where people live that if you check the history of it and the migration patterns, how they got there, where they came from, that did not first produce a black man on that very spot. Now, that's a heck of a statement to make, and I'll hold it until you can correct me down the line or later on when we turn it over for questions and comments, even tonight. Therefore, if you research the history of any continent, my claim is that you will find Negroid people. Negroid only by the term that the anthropologists are using. And since we're trying to be intelligent here and we're trying to look at our history, we'll take those names, but understand that those names don't necessarily bind you. They're just names to use while in Rome. The whole idea is people carrying melanin in spite or despite or with respite of whatever you call it, have been found wherever you go back in those histories. Just briefly, when you look at the continent of Australia, supposedly there's a big question mark there. How in the world did the Aborigines, unique as they are, ever get to Australia? No one can understand it. Oh, what a mystery. Oh. Here is a dark-skinned, blonde-haired people in many cases, straight black hair, going back for 5 and 6 now generations like this. How in the world did black people ever get naturally golden hair? And where did these wide-nostril, straight-haired people come from? It is not the question, where did these wide-nosed, big-lipped, Negroid peoples come from. It was who interrupted their lifestyle to impregnate them with blonde hair. That is your question, not the question where they come from. I go back to my basic tenet and premise, which is, again, any continent you go to, the original people that you will find there, if you go back far enough in their history, are dark-skinned people. In fact, the name for them is Negrito. I didn't say Negro. What did I say?
Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.